Hey, what's up people? Piz Al here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the new Arrow Video Special Edition 3-disc limited edition release for 1995's, although it wasn't released until 1997, Evil Ed. Now this is going to be partially a review of the movie as well as a review of this limited 3-disc special edition from Arrow Video. Now, Evil Ed is about a meek and moral film editor by the name of Ed, and he's been brought in by a sleazy schlockmeister producer to edit down his new film, Loose Limbs 5, in order to appease the censors. Now, what this producer fails to tell Ed is that the last editor he had on the job went stark raving mad and put a grenade in his mouth. Well, even though Ed is morally opposed to these kinds of films, he takes on the job and begins editing Loose Limbs 5. However, pretty soon in the editing process, he begins to lose touch with reality. He's seeing monsters in the refrigerator. People are turning into demons before his eyes. And it's not long thereafter that Ed begins to get his hands dirty. Now, Evil Ed is a Swedish film. It is clearly a play on the censorship that plagued particularly horror movies in Europe for many, many years, in which movies had to pass a board of censors who, if they decided that the film was too morally repugnant, they would add it to the video nasties list, and it would not be able to be shown in certain countries throughout Europe, based on the fact that, of course, as we all know, if you watch a horror movie, it will bend your fragile mind and turn you into a psychopathic killer, much like it does Ed in Evil Ed. Does that mean Evil Ed is a pro-censorship movie? Evil Ed reminds me a lot of Peter Jackson's Brain Dead or Dead Alive, in that it has the same tone. It has the same over-the-top effects. It's not taking itself too seriously. Now, Evil Ed isn't quite on the same gore level as Brain Dead or Dead Alive, but there's some really nice, bloody, gory gags in the movie. And also when you take into account that they had virtually no money and no resources to make this film, and that the makeup effects in the movie are fantastic. The creature effects in the movie are really, really good as well. And it's just an overall really well-made, well-shot movie with an almost sort of comic style about it. Now, the movie goes on way too long. There's some very jarring shifts in tone, particularly toward the end of the movie when the movie turns from a psychological descent into madness into the Terminator that really kind of comes out of left field and just doesn't feel right in this movie. It's still overall a really fun flick, and one that I do highly recommend if you like over-the-top bloodbaths that actually have a bit of a message to them. Definitely check out Evil Ed. If you're a fan of Evil Ed, look into this limited edition special edition of Evil Ed because it'd make a great addition to your collection. If you've not seen Evil Ed and it sounds like it's up your alley, definitely look in to this release from the folks over at Arrow Video. The Arrow release comes with 3 discs. We've got a Blu-ray, we've got a DVD, and on the limited edition, we have a 3rd disc. This release includes the original 93-minute cut of the film and the 99-minute special edition of Evil Ed. As far as the picture quality and the sound quality are concerned, the sound quality is great. The picture quality, they definitely brightened up the picture quality for the film, which makes it look very soft. It has this kind of glow about it that really brings out the film grain. Now, some people aren't going to mind that. Some people definitely will mind that. So I guess it just depends on how you feel about a Blu-ray with a lot of film grain. You can play the movie with an optional introduction from Anders Jacobson and Doc, in which they discuss the extras for this release and what a joy it was to revisit the behind-the-scenes footage that they still have for Evil Ed. As far as extras are concerned, we have You Keep 'Em Heads Rollin', a 45.5-minute making-of documentary featuring interviews with Anders Jacobson, Kaj Steveman, Goran Ludstrom, Johan Rudebach, Doc, Par Lofberg, and Camilla Leith. Very Swedish. With lots of behind-the-scenes footage and photos. They discuss going into production on the film with no money, no script, and a camera that they traded a couple of bottles of whiskey for. They discuss how fun but chaotic the shoot was, working around the clock for 4 weeks straight. They then decided to add 20 minutes to the film, and they shot the action sequences at the end of the film. After that, and how unsafe that shoot was, having to make their own homemade squibs, but not quite knowing exactly what they were doing. They discussed the stuntman on the film who seemingly had a death wish and almost killed himself during those additional shoots. They described the post-production process as taking forever, dubbing the entire movie, all the sound and the dialogue. They discussed taking the film to Cannes and the success it had there, finding distribution all over the world in like 60 countries. They discussed the movie's cult status, and the lead actor in the film who played Ed discusses the first time that he got recognized in public. It was at a McDonald's. He describes a pockmarked face kid putting his tray on the counter in front of him and going, "Are you Ed?" And him going, "What? Evil Ed, that's you, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's me." And the kid was like, "Wicked." So, very first time he got recognized from Evil Ed was in McDonald's. Very nice. Very nice making of documentary for Evil Ed, clocking in at 45.5 minutes. We also have Before Ed, a featurette looking at the early film endeavors of the Evil Ed crew. It includes interviews with Kaj Steveman, Goran Ludstrom, Anders Jacobson, and Doc. They discuss their early works, including movies with titles like The Resurrection of Michael Myers 1 and 2, and The Day of the Easter Lily, about a killer Easter lily. They also discuss the films and filmmakers that inspired them to want to work in show business. That feature clocks in at 9 minutes and 47 seconds. We have Beyond Ed, in which the Evil Ed crew discusses their careers post-Evil Ed. It comes in at 10 minutes and 13 seconds. They discuss the next project that followed Evil Ed, entitled The Unknown, and how the director of that film wanted the camera work to be very shaky. And depending on the shoot day, he would want the camera more shakier or less shakier. So the movie, it's just various levels of shaky cam, that movie. And neither Doc, who edited the movie, or Jacobson, who shot the film, got paid for it. Very nice. They then discuss a project called Hunger that they shot the pilot for in order to get the film financed, but that fell through. Then they moved on to a movie called Insane, which they describe as their biggest catastrophe to date, and they discuss projects that they have in the works now. Next up, we have Reconstructing Edwards. It's just over 21 minutes in length. It's a featurette looking at the preparation of the special edition cut of Evil Ed. Doc takes us on a tour of his pantry, in which he's kept memorabilia from the movie, including press clippings and reviews and the 16mm negatives from the film. We follow Doc into the editing bay as he looks over the negative to retrieve the scenes that didn't make it into the film originally, in order to scan and add them into the special edition, including color grading and new dubbing. We get new scenes, a closer look at the scenes that were added to create the special edition. We get deleted scenes, trailers, and teasers, an image gallery. And on disc 3, which is a limited edition exclusive, you get an extra called Lost in Brainland, a never-before-seen extended 3-hour making of documentary all about Evil Ed. 3 hours on the making of Evil Ed. God bless you if you can make it through that entire thing. And we get cast and crew interview bloopers. Now, I can't tell you about the packaging for this set or any of the accoutrements that may come with it. Arrow sent me check discs to just review the Blu-ray itself and the extras, but from what I've seen, the special edition packaging for the limited edition of the Blu-ray looks really friggin' cool. So if you are a fan of Evil Ed, you definitely want to look into this Blu-ray release. It's loaded with anything and everything you could possibly want to know about the making of Evil Ed. If Evil Ed sounds up your alley, definitely look into this Arrow Video Blu-ray release. I'll put a link to their website in the description below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.